Hey everybody, how you all keeping on? I didn't post last few days because I was kind of busy, but I'm here now, so let's get to the point that I wanted to make in this video today. Well, today I wanted to talk about a very serious epidemic that is going on. That is depression. It is a health concern in the entire world nowadays. The fact that most persons, even especially the younger ones, are suffer from any or all kinds of depression states. And this is a pretty serious thing nowadays. I cannot say myself that I'm completely clear out of depression. I even think some days that I have the most critical levels of depression, and some other days I'm like, okay, I don't have any kind of depression. But I think this is just how things go along, sometimes you're just okay, sometimes you're just not. But I've been talking with a lot of friends and family, and I think I got a pretty nice way to start up and walk out of these states. Of course, then everybody has its own ways and its own matters of dealing with this kind of mental disorders. So it's completely obvious that this video is not made by a professional. I'm just a guy trying to tell y'all how I managed to go through it when the things are not really going good for me in my mental state. And hopefully you can learn something by what I say here and make your own impressions, make your own critical thoughts, and apply it on your regular states so that you can help yourselves to get out of this state. I hope I can help y'all with that. And I know it is pretty boring that I just come here and tell you that you need a routine, because it's kind of that predictive state that we are now. But I don't think that a routine needs to actually follow this hyper productive trend nationwide, this hyper productive world that we live now. I think routine is more about taking your life in a day by day basis, but just a basis. In the rest of the days, you may change things, you may do things in your own manners, and this is what I hope that you make by watching this video. So, how to make some kind of routine when you are completely hollowed for the inside, when that existential dread just keeps getting you and actually doesn't let you get out of your bed most of the times. And I know how it feels, I've already gone through it. What happens is that depression kind of mess up with the chemicals on your brain, and I'm being serious. It's not like you're lazy, it's because that thing is literally messing with the chemicals inside your brain, so that you cannot do basic stuff because you don't feel the energy to do so. And the way I think to counterpart this is starting by the smallest of the things and not letting procrastination gets on you. So let's go through it. When you start by the smallest and basic things on your routine, you can go working up on the higher scales and kind of merging all together and having your own routine. And this is what is going to take you out of that. I think the first things first, I've already even talked about this in a video, is that you need to start writing to keep track of your own thoughts. And when you start to realize, those small things that come and beat you up, you can start to countermeasure them. So when something comes in your mind and just destroys your day, makes you don't want to get out of your bed anymore, by writing that in a journal, in a diary, you can countermeasure that. When it comes, you're like, no, this is a trap of my mind. I need to get out of this thing. And I think that by start, the simple act of writing and keeping that track of your thoughts is the first step. Because then you're gonna have the other most basic steps that you can go through along. And I think that the second most basic step is sleep. Nowadays, we simply don't get sleep, and I'm being truly honest about this. I know people that get 5 hours of sleep daily, and they're like, okay, I'm cool with it. Brother, you're not cool with it. You were not made to sleep 5 hours a day. You were made to sleep 8 hours a day. Some people were made 12 hours a day of sleep, and they're fine with it. In 5 hours, this is just gonna completely destroy everything, not just your mental but your physical and spiritual state. It is completely gonna ruin your life. So after getting a good track of most of your problems, start sleeping better. And I know that a lot of people have trouble sleeping, so it's gonna be hard in the start. It's gonna be pretty hard, but trying every single day to sleep in the same time and waking up in the other day in the same time, this small start of just building a sleep routine is gonna be the base of your routine. And with a journal, keeping track of all the other things that kind of mess up with your mind is gonna be a combo that is just gonna save your life. It's gonna help you to rise up from depression and starting seeing things as they are. The third thing is eating, and I mean real by that. A lot of people don't know it, but the system kind of wants us the way we are now, destroyed, completely soulless, just consuming and consuming and consuming, this consumerism, endless consumerism. And then when you are completely tired and destroyed out of it, the system will just tell you, yeah brother, you're just not doing it enough, you're just not hustling enough. This is how the system wants you to think, that you're not hustling enough, that you are not enough. But just the fact that you exist, it's already enough. I think that most of people don't realize it, but you, brother, in the other side, you are a complete fucking miracle. And I mean by that, the chances of you existing are fucking small as it can be, because you have to be in this exact same, it is really small. So the simple fact that you exist is already a miracle, and it already is proving that you are enough, because you have made it all the way to the miracle of life. So how does this come back to food? Eating shitty foods is gonna make your mind work in a more depressive state. Sugar, for an example. Sugar will literally make you have a gigantic mental fog inside your brain. So when you're with that gigantic mental fog, that is also exacerbated by the fact that you are not sleeping enough and that you are not keeping track of your own thoughts. So you're just consuming, waking up after 5 mere hours of sleeps and eating shitty. You are not gonna have the simple realization that shit, I'm enough just to exist, because the system is constantly telling you that you are not enough, and you simply don't have mental energy enough to think the opposite, because you are completely ruined. I think those three things, the journal, the sleep, and the eating, they are the basics. They are the base to build a nice and cool routine. And I mean it, because I don't want you to build a exact routine. I don't want you to like, yeah, I'm gonna have these things and these things and these things and just follow it every single day, because I think that doing the same loop of things every single day is also pretty bad for your mental health. So I think that actually when you have this base good, and when you have all the things that you have to do that are kind of major for your life, in the meantimes that you're not doing the basics and that you're not doing the things that you literally have to do, in those meantimes, those small times, you can start putting in new things, new hobbies, going to new locations, eating in new places, meeting new people. And by that, you're gonna make yourself a routine, a real routine, something that is tangible, reality, real reality. So yeah, I think that this may be a very good start for you, but I'm not a professional. So if you think that you're kind of walking into a path of no return, I genuinely advise you to seek medical help, professional medical help. And there's always going to be someone here for you, bro. Life can be pretty hard sometimes, most of the times. And I don't really think that we can escape suffering, but we can actually learn to suffer less, to have more joys upon the sufferings. And if we kind of learn to have that kind of life, I think we're gonna eventually find ourselves in the middle of this in the middle of this crazy chaotic storm that the modern world, that modern society has become. I think that we don't need to follow this whole collapse trend that the society is kind of putting in us right now. We can move along with our lives and find ourselves beyond consumerism. And I think that a good base of routine is gonna help you to actually have time to find yourself, to find who you are meant to be. Not finding purpose, but finding joy in the lack of purpose. I know I'm being pretty philosophical now, but I think it's important to, think about stuff and moving it along. And remember, man, always remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You gotta remind that every single day, every single minute, every single second. Because this is crazy nowadays. So, yeah, I hope y'all be fine. I hope y'all liked this video. And that's it. Goodbye, brothers. Stay healthy.